What's up, YouTube? Country CEO back again. Welcome back to the channel. It's a great day, cold day in the neighborhood, but oh well. I got my little vest on. I hope y'all like it. It keeps me pretty warm, right? Right. Got an interesting subject for you today. One of my subs asked me a great question, and it's so applicable to my context or where I live to It Ain't Funny, and I just had to share it with you guys. He asked me had I engaged in any of this storm cleanup with all of the storms that seem to happen in Louisiana a lot. And I shared with him that yes, I did. And some of it good, some of it bad, right? All right. And so this video is about the pros and cons of storm cleanup, right? The pros and cons of storm cleanup. All right. All right. So look, let me share my experience with you before I get into the pros and the cons. Unfortunately, we know Katrina came in 2005, did a lot of damage to the New Orleans area. Where I stay, we're about 120 miles from New Orleans, right? But nevertheless, we got a call from a contractor that I work for pretty regular. So we trusted him. And he called us, hey, look, got some work down in New Orleans, need emergency trucks like right now. Can you guys go tomorrow? Yes, we can, right? And so I gathered up. At that time, I had 3 trucks, 3 drivers, and we got those guys together, and they were scheduled to go down to New Orleans, right? The rate was $90 an hour. Back in 05, Baton Rouge area, the rate was probably 50, 55, right? So an excellent time to hit a good lick, right? And so got my guys together. They're all excited to go. And what was happening is, if you may have seen it on the news, is that the barge had hit the levee and had a big old hole in the levee. And so the water from the Pontchartrain, Lake Pontchartrain, was coming in on the neighborhoods and flooding them, right? And so they needed to fix that breach in that levee, right? And so I sent my guys down there, $90 an hour. And basically what they were doing was hauling rip-rap limestone from one of the yards down there, dumping it in the lake, right? And you may have seen that on the news when those trucks was dumping that big old huge chunks of limestone in to fill in the hole, right? All right. And so long story short, my trucks were on that. They would do 18, 20 hours, come home, go back the next day. I mean, we made a good little lick. Lasted about 3 days, right? And I think I made like $18,000 right quick, right? Went down there, and we were able to get paid. We got paid from the contractor that my guy was ordered to send the trucks through. Okay, no problem. One of the issues with working with the federal government on projects like that is that the contractor is allowed to take this craziness about 10% of the total amount that they owe you, and then supposed to give it to you on the back end. That's a bunch of hogwash. Don't believe it. It's not true, right? All right, because my total was like $20,000. He took 10%, which was $1,800. I got a little over 18,000. Never did get the other 1,800, right? So it was a hogwash type of way. I won't say what I really want to say because I am a Christian, but to put money in their pocket. And they did that for each contractor, each trucker that was there, right? I rode down with 3 or 4 other guys from this area. We all carpooled up, got in the car together, and went down there, went in, got money, and that's what happened, all right? And so that's my experience the first time. All right, wasn't mad. Okay, $18,000 in about 3 days, I'll take it. All right, second experience was more work down there, right? They got to clean up these neighborhoods. They got so much work got to be done. Get a call to go down there, right? And it's this guy out of Atlanta who's the contractor, but it's a local guy who gathers us up to go, right? Okay, boom, we're down there. They're registering the trucks in. It's going to be $90 an hour. I even bought another truck at that time with the high lift gate to haul that trash away. All right, and so long story short, again, I say we worked, right? Put in the first week, boom, quick $3,000 or $4,000 for 2 trucks I had down there. Okay, this is going to be all right. But oh boy, came the next week, worked that whole week, both of my trucks. Had about $11,000 in the hole. Came time to pay. We didn't work the next week. Came time to pay. Start having issues. Start trying to contact the guy that hooked us up with this. He's saying he can't get the guy on the phone. Another week passed. We all go down there, got the television stations to come and meet us, talking about how we having problem with this dude. We all downtown New Orleans at hotels where he supposed to be and thinking we finna meet up with him. Can't find him. Another week passed. Finally, we realized we even got jacked, right? $11,000 just for me. The total of the truckers in my little group that we all were down there was a total of $100,000. We all gathered up, went and got a lawyer a couple of weeks later. Lawyer tried to work on it. Basically, after about 2 months, he couldn't find out who to get our money from. This guy had basically disappeared. We had his name, company name, address. He's in Atlanta. But basically, he disappeared off the face of the earth, and I had to eat that $11,000, right? All right, so beware when you're doing storm cleanup, and get some paperwork, know who you're working for, and whereas we used to see dollar signs when it's a storm, oh man, we gonna get paid big money now. We are not so eager to rush into those kinds of jobs these days because we have had some bad things to happen to us. So that's my little spiel in my experience, right? All right, so let me give you some pros though about storm cleanup. All right, it's a work opportunity, right? If nothing's going on and unfortunately a hurricane has come through, and there's some cleanup going on, and the contractor, you don't have to worry about your money. It's a great opportunity for some work. I think that's a pro, because if it's a storm just came through, other stuff might not be going, right? So it's an opportunity to work, right? But again, beware, know your contractor. All right. Secondly, it's federal money, so it's going to be higher pay, right? Back then, federal government was paying $90 an hour for truck. I think that still is the rate, right? $90 an hour. So it's federal money, which is pretty much going to be higher pay in most areas, okay? All right. It may last a while, That's another pro of it, If it's a hurricane and tore a place up, then, man, it take 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 months to clean that place up, right? So it could be work that lasts a while. That's a pro. All right. There have been instances where they'll provide room and board. I've had the opportunity where they paid for our room and board. I've had some friends of mine that had their fuel paid for, right? Didn't even have to pay for their own fuel. So it has some perks to it in that regard. Okay. All right. And then it's an excellent chance to put up some money. If you're fortunate enough to get a good contractor that you're working for, making that kind of money, lasting that amount of time, they're paying for the room and board and fuel, man, look, it's an excellent opportunity to put up some great money, right? So those are the pros of doing storm cleanup work, right? And so I'm speaking from experience here. I'm telling you what I know, not what I heard, all right? But there are some cons, okay? Cons. It brings out crooked contractors, right? All right. Every time we have a storm in Louisiana, you get these jackleg contractors from all over the country. We call them storm chasers, right? They come. This is what they do. Whenever there's a storm they chase storms, right? And they come in and they try to contract this work, and it just ends up being a mess, man. A lot of these guys are crooks. So the cons is it brings crooks. Secondly, it tends to be by the cubic yard than by the hour. We were fortunate enough to get on a couple of by the hour jobs. That's what I prefer. All right. We tried it one time with this cubic yard foolishness, right? And we know that our trucks, just say for instance, my truck is a 20 cubic yard truck. But when you're doing this storm cleanup stuff, these jokers don't be wanting to give you but 16 and 17. Oh, that ain't a full load. Or you got to tote this much for it to count. And then they're on top of big old wooden stands looking down in the truck. So it just gets to be a big old a bunch of foolishness, arguing back and forth with them about whether or not you got a full load, man. So I don't like those cubic yard jobs like that with storm cleanup. All right. And then thirdly, it can be a logistical headache. If you got to send your guy out of town to this place, to that place, maneuvering around, trying to find where you got to go, who you're working for, you got to get that room and board stuff straight, all that kind of stuff. It can be a logistical nightmare, okay? It can be a lot to deal with, all right? And then finally, you will need more personnel, right? In the situation I was in, I had drivers on trucks more than what's legally allowed, right? They were on truck 18, 20 hours, but them guys wanted to make that money. I wanted them to make that money. But at the same time, I was tensed and stressed because I don't want a guy to go to sleep on the way home. I don't want him to go to sleep on the job. Again, they were bagging up on Lake Pontchartrain, water on both sides, dumping rock. One wrong move. Matter of fact, a guy lost a truck in the lake because somebody tired, fatigue, and the ground gave away, and boom, the person was able to jump out of the truck, but the guy lost his truck down there. So I was stressed because I'm worrying about these guys working so long and then something happens, right? All right, so look, this video has been valuable to you. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this video with someone that you feel can benefit from it, right? All right, so look, pros and cons. A storm cleanup. Got some good, got some bad. Ultimately, you have to do what you feel is best for you, right? All right, I gave you the game. No grind, no shine. We gone.